Imagine a country where tipping is not optional, where a simple hospital visit can cost more than a car, where children travel alone in buses at the age of 5, and where millions of people carry a financial score that controls their entire life. From the outside, it sounds strange, even unbelievable. But inside the United States of America, this is not strange. This is normal. Today, we are going deep into 15 strange things that are completely normal in America. Things that shock foreigners but define everyday life for Americans. And by the end of this video, you might start seeing America in a completely different way. Let's begin. In many countries around the world, tipping is a small gesture, something you do if service is excellent. But in America, tipping is almost a system. After eating in a restaurant, paying the bill is not the end. You are expected to add extra money, usually between 15% and 25%. This is not just limited to restaurants. You are expected to tip waiters, delivery drivers, Uber and taxi drivers, hairdressers, even coffee shop staff in some places. For many Americans, tipping is part of income, not a bonus. But for foreigners, this creates confusion, because the question arises, if I already paid for the service, why do I still need to pay more? In fact, many tourists experience anxiety after meals because they are unsure how much to tip. In some cases, not tipping is seen as rude, even disrespectful. So what looks like generosity from the outside is actually an unspoken rule inside the system. Now imagine this. You go to the hospital with a simple health issue, maybe fever, maybe small injury. You receive treatment, maybe spend a few hours there, and later you receive a bill, not $50, not $200, sometimes thousands of dollars. In America, healthcare is one of the most controversial systems in the world. Even a basic emergency visit can cost more than a month's salary for some people. Because of this, many Americans rely heavily on health insurance. Without insurance, medical care can become financially dangerous. This creates a very unusual situation. People don't just ask, "Am I sick?" They also ask, "Can I afford to be sick?" For many outsiders, this is one of the most shocking realities of American life. In many countries, parents personally drop their children to school. But in America, independence starts early. It is completely normal for children, as young as 5 or 6 years old, to take a school bus alone. They walk to bus stops early in the morning. They wait with other kids. Then they travel to school without parents. No escort, no supervision from family. At first glance, this sounds risky. But in American culture, it is based on trust in systems, rules, and community structure. This early independence is seen as preparation for adulthood. By the time they grow older, children are already used to managing responsibilities on their own. In many parts of the world, talking to strangers is unusual or avoided. But in America, small talk is a daily habit. People talk. In elevators, in grocery store lines, at gas stations, even while waiting for coffee, a simple question like, "How are you?" is not always a deep emotional question. Often it is just a social greeting. For foreigners, this can feel confusing, because in some cultures, talking to strangers means something serious. But in America, it is simply part of being polite and socially open. However, it can also feel overwhelming for people who are not used to constant interaction. Another major cultural difference is independence. In America, teenagers often get driving licenses at 16, start part-time jobs, manage their own money, make personal travel decisions. In many countries, these responsibilities come much later. But in the U.S., independence is encouraged early. Parents believe that learning responsibility at a young age prepares children for real life. By the time they reach adulthood, many already have years of experience managing their own decisions. To outsiders, this feels fast, even extreme. But in America, it is part of growing up. This is where the foundation is built. In Part 2, we will go deeper into gun culture reality, credit score system, state-to-state law differences, tipping deeper psychology, healthcare system expansion. One of the most shocking cultural realities for outsiders is how common guns are in America. In many countries, guns are rare, heavily restricted or completely banned for civilians. But in the United States, gun ownership is legally protected and culturally accepted in many regions. In some states, people openly carry firearms in public, under legal permits. In rural areas especially, guns are often seen not as weapons of violence, but as tools for hunting, self-defense, sport shooting, rural protection. For many Americans, owning a gun is as normal as owning a car or a tool set. However, this creates a major cultural divide. To outsiders, the idea of seeing firearms in everyday life, in stores, in vehicles, or even in conversations, feels extremely unusual. But inside America, the debate is not about whether guns exist. It's about how they should be regulated. This makes guns not just a legal topic, but a deep cultural identity issue. Some Americans see guns as freedom, others see them as danger, and both sides are deeply emotional about it. That's why this single topic remains one of the most debated issues in the country. Imagine a number that silently follows you everywhere. It decides whether you can rent a house, whether you can buy a car, whether you can get a loan, even what interest rate you will pay. In America, this number exists. It is called a credit score, and for many people, it is one of the most important financial indicators in their life. Your credit score is based on how responsibly you pay bills, how much debt you have, how long you've had credit history, how often you apply for loans. A good credit score opens doors. A bad credit score closes them. What makes this strange for outsiders is how invisible but powerful it is. You cannot physically see it. You cannot touch it. But it can decide your financial future. In many countries, financial decisions are more direct. Income, savings, and job stability. But in America, this hidden number plays a massive role in everyday life. Many young Americans start building credit as teenagers because they know their future depends on it. One of the most misunderstood facts about America is that it is not a single unified rule book. It is 50 states, and each state has its own laws, rules, and systems. This means the legal drinking age is the same nationwide, 21, but many other laws vary. Driving rules differ from state to state. Taxes are not identical everywhere. Even public behavior laws can change. For example, what is legal in one state might be restricted in another. This creates a strange experience for travelers. You can drive a few hours and suddenly feel like you entered a different system entirely. Even Americans sometimes struggle to keep up with these differences. This decentralized structure is designed to give states independence, but it also creates confusion for outsiders. Because in most countries, laws are consistent everywhere. In America, geography changes rules. If there is one thing almost every foreign visitor notices immediately, it is food size. In America, restaurant portions are often much larger than in other countries. A single meal can easily be enough for 2 people. Drinks are served in large cups. Refills are often free. Fast food meals come in supersize options. This culture is based on value perception. More food for the price. But it also leads to confusion and sometimes waste. Visitors often say, "I ordered one meal and got enough for a family." Over time, this has influenced eating habits across the country. Many Americans are used to large portions, not just in restaurants, but even at home. This makes portion control a topic of health discussion as well. For outsiders, it feels excessive. For locals, it feels normal. In many cultures, talking to strangers is rare or even discouraged. But in America, small talk is part of everyday life. You will hear conversations like, "How's your day going? Nice weather today, right? That line is moving slow." These are not deep conversations. They are social signals. Americans often use small talk to break silence, show friendliness, reduce social tension, create a comfortable environment. For foreigners, this can feel unusual at first, because in many places, talking to strangers means something important or intentional. But in America, silence is sometimes considered uncomfortable, so people fill it with light conversation. This creates a culture that feels open, friendly, and social, but also very talkative compared to many parts of the world. Now, the documentary is building strong contrast between freedom versus control, comfort versus confusion, normal versus strange. In many countries, education is either heavily subsidized or relatively affordable. But in America, higher education often comes with a heavy financial burden. College tuition can cost tens of thousands of dollars per year. For many students, this means taking education loans. These loans don't disappear after graduation. They follow people for years and sometimes decades. This creates a situation where many young adults start their careers already in debt. They graduate not just with degrees, but with financial pressure. This affects life decisions. Choosing jobs based on salary instead of passion, delaying home ownership, postponing major life goals. For outsiders, it feels strange that education, something meant to improve life, can also create long-term financial stress. But in America, this is a normal part of the system. In many countries, drive-thru is mostly limited to fast food restaurants. But in America, drive-thru is a lifestyle. You can find drive-thru, coffee shops, pharmacies, banks, fast food restaurants, even some laundromats. The idea is simple: convenience over everything. You don't even need to leave your car. You can order food, pick up medicine, withdraw money, buy coffee, all without stepping outside. This reflects a deeper cultural value in America: speed and efficiency. For foreigners, it often feels unusual that daily tasks are designed around cars instead of walking or social interaction. But in the U.S., time is often seen as more valuable than physical movement. In many countries, Halloween is either not celebrated or is a small event. But in America, Halloween is one of the biggest cultural celebrations of the year. It is not just for children. Adults participate too. People decorate their houses with ghosts, skeletons, giant spider webs, horror themes. Children dress up and go door to door saying trick or treat. Entire neighborhoods turn into themed experiences. Some cities even host competitions for best costumes, best decorated house, scariest setup. For outsiders, it feels like a national festival of imagination and creativity. But in America, it is completely normal seasonal culture. One of the strongest patterns in American lifestyle is convenience. Almost everything is designed to save time. Online shopping with next-day delivery, fast food everywhere, automated services, subscription systems, digital payments. Even grocery shopping is evolving. People order online and pick up without entering the store. This reflects a deep cultural mindset. Time is more valuable than effort. For many foreigners, this feels extremely fast-paced, because in many countries, daily tasks involve more human interaction and slower processes. But in America, systems are designed to reduce friction in every day. In America, work is often tied closely to identity and survival. Many jobs offer limited vacation time compared to other countries. Employees often work long hours, multiple shifts, or side jobs, side hustles. At the same time, productivity and performance are highly valued. For many people, career success is a major life goal. This creates a culture where work is fast-paced, competition is high, and personal time can be limited. For outsiders, it can feel like life revolves heavily around work. But for many Americans, it is part of building stability and success. Now, the contrast is becoming stronger. America is a place of extreme convenience, high opportunity, but also high pressure. In America, freedom of speech is one of the most powerful constitutional rights. People can openly criticize the government, public figures, companies, even controversial ideas. On TV, on streets, and on social media, expression is very open compared to many countries. This level of freedom creates a very diverse environment of opinions. But it also means debates can become very intense, because almost anything can be publicly discussed. For outsiders, it often feels surprising how openly people can speak about sensitive topics. In America, speech is not just communication. It is a protected right. America is one of the biggest entertainment producers in the world. Movies, music, sports, and social media all play a huge role in everyday culture. People often follow Hollywood films, Netflix series, NBA, NFL, and MLB sports, celebrity news, and influencers. Entertainment is not just leisure. It is part of daily conversation. At work, school, or social gatherings, people often discuss the latest shows or games. For outsiders, it can feel like entertainment culture is everywhere all the time. But in America, media is a major part of identity and social connection. In America, almost everything requires documentation. From renting a house to opening a bank account, you need identification, credit history, legal documents, verification processes. Even simple tasks often involve paperwork or digital confirmation. This system is designed for structure and security. But for outsiders, it can feel complex and highly formal compared to simpler systems in other countries. In American culture, personal space is highly respected. People prefer standing at a distance while talking, avoiding physical contact with strangers, maintaining privacy in public behavior. Even in public places, there is an unspoken rule about respecting space. For foreigners from more physically expressive cultures, This can feel distant at first. But in America, personal space equals respect. One of the biggest cultural traits in America is speed. Everything is designed to move quickly. Fast food, fast internet, fast delivery, fast communication, even conversations and decisions can feel quick and direct. This creates a lifestyle where time is always in focus. For many Americans, being slow is often seen as inefficiency. But for outsiders, this fast pace can feel overwhelming. When you look at America from the outside, many things seem strange. Tipping culture, huge healthcare bills, early independence, credit scores, guns, and extreme convenience systems. But inside the country, these are not strange at all. They are simply part of everyday life. Because every society builds its own version of normal based on history, economy, and culture, and what feels unusual to one person can feel completely natural to another. So the real question is not, why is America so strange? The real question is, what feels normal in your country that might feel strange somewhere else? Every country has its own normal, and every normal looks strange from the outside.